it's begun with years, months, weeks,
but now it's just 5 days to the general elections happening next week on Tuesday. We have a lot lined up for you. This is Kirk in the Morning. My name is Vincent Kirosi. Of course, including the newspaper review, traffic updates, and of course what has happened or transpired in the campaign trail and much more. But before that, the question we are asking you today is, are you ready for the polls? Are you ready for next Tuesday's polls? You can engage with us on our social media, Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook, Kirk TV_KE on Twitter, and of course on our SMS number on your screen. And let's get to know what you're saying. Are you ready for the polls? We have guests in studio that I'm going to introduce to you later. But first things first, let's get this show rolling by looking at what is written in the newspapers this morning. Well, with me here, I have two papers, the Daily Nation and, of course, the Standard. The top page of the Daily Nation, Raila favorite to win, says poll. Of course, yesterday was the last day constitutionally for the pollsters to release their final poll results and predictions. And with me here on the first page of the Nation is saying that 5 days to the general election, first round victory depends on 7% of the undecided voters. Two pollsters released yesterday indicate that Raila has gained over Ruto in the last 1 month after statistical ties in the previous popularity tests. Raila at 49, of course, and Ruto polling at 41. This is according to the Nation Media Group poll conducted and released yesterday. You look at the TIFA poll. TIFA says that Ruto is polling at 44.4%, while Raila polls at 46.7%. Ipsos says Ruto at 41%, Raila Odinga 47%. Infotrack says that Ruto at 42, Raila at 49. You see a difference of around almost identical, 7%, 6%, 5%, according to that. Others in the race, of course, we have David Maura of Agano Party polling at 0.2%, and George Wajakoya Professor polling at 2%. If you flip over to page 2 of that Nation newspaper, of course, is a continuation of that story about the polls that were released yesterday. And of course, you look at page 3 for candidates. It's time to learn from the numbers. Of course, talking about the numbers, tiring of numbers according to 2017. What do they expect in 2022, 5 years later? You can read that story in the page 3 of the Nation. I want to look at what the Standard says. Top page of the Standard says high stakes, the 10 big names to watch. The country goes to the polls to elect the next president in 5 days. Focus is on the outgoing head of state, who is actively campaigning for his choice of successor, and 8 men and a woman who carry the hopes and fears of a nation. That story is continued on page 6. But who are these 8 men? Of course, there is the IEBC chair, Wafula Chebukati. There is the head, the commander of the defense forces there, Dr. Kibochi. Of course, the inspector general of police. We have Henry Mutiamba. We have the interior CS, and of course his peers, Matiang, and of course Kibisho there. The president himself, the incumbent, this is His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. We have the Chief Justice Martha Koome. We have the CA Director, that's of course the Communication Authority Director there, Ezra Chiloba. Raila Odinga, the Right Honorable, who is the candidate of the presidential candidate for Azimio, and of course the Deputy President, who is also the presidential candidate for Kenya Kwanza. These are the 8 people to look at. There's a story written on page 4 on the abrupt school closure that has left pupils and students stranded. Of course, yesterday, if you watched the news, you could see that parents were complaining of how abrupt that happened, and that put them in turmoil as far as that is concerned. Teachers also talking about how again they are going to compress the 4 or 5 days that the students are going to be out, given that they have to make sure that by November they are done with the school schedule ready for the national exams. There's a story on page 3 that was covered extensively yesterday, how watching pattern of life helped the US to take out Zawahir. Zawahir, of course, has been the leader of Al-Qaeda since 2011, when its leader, that is Osama bin Laden, was fallen by the US. Yesterday, his successor Al-Zawahir was also brought down by a drone strikes that happened in, of course, that happened there in Afghanistan. Of course, we've talked about that story, students suffering a brunt of abrupt Ministry of Order to close schools. That is what is making headlines, of course, in the top pages of the 2 top dailies in Kenya. That's the Standard and the Daily Nation. If you want to read more and understand most of the stories written therein, just grab your copy of the Standard and that of the Nation. Then you'll be able to read and understand what has been written. But of course, these are some of the stories that we're going to cover in our discussion this morning. The road to the general election, that's the countdown to the D-Day next Tuesday. That is it in the papers. We take a short break. We'll be back. Welcome back. Now we want to look at a little bit of what happened yesterday in the campaign trail and of course what made headlines. We begin with a story on the preparedness of the elections on security matters. The Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i assuring Kenyans of their security during and after the general elections slated for Tuesday next week. Addressing the media yesterday, Matiang'i rubbished claims by politicians that the provincial administrators are hatching a plan to interfere with the credibility of the polls, saying that all the security apparatus is geared to ensuring that every Kenyan gets the chance to exercise their constitutional right. This is even after 8 suspects linked with the circulation of hate speech leaflets in Uasin Gishu were arrested pending to appear before a court of law later today.
It's frustrating and unfortunate that those who are saying those things are actually supposed to be leaders. But I have asked my colleagues, all chiefs across the country, all my colleagues in Ingao, National Government Administration, at all levels, assistant chief to county commissioner to regional commissioner, ignore these people. We are not politicians. This country has been held together by the National Government Administration. In times like this, it is these security people who hold our country together. And they work so hard. Many of them hardly sleep. They work so hard to make sure that we are peaceful, to make sure that our country is stable, and we are moving forward to do what we have to do. Some of those claims are outrageous and ridiculous. None of us is doing any of those things. I am convinced, beyond any shadow of doubt, I have intelligence officers here who will tell you Kenyans are determined to be peaceful. They love their country. They want a peaceful country. And you will see, I don't think there's going to be any problem. By now, we'll have gotten information if there was going to be any challenge. Even though it took us hours to get a hold of those people, the suspects that we now have, we are not going to pass judgment on them. As a law-abiding government, we are going to take them to a court of law. That's what we are supposed to do. We are ready as security sector players to provide support to the IBC to conduct the general elections on the 9th. We are ready totally to do this. And we have sufficient resources. Every Kenyan, whether they live in the Rift Valley or elsewhere in the country, need to understand one thing. They are free to go and vote. They should wake up in the morning on 9th and exercise their democratic right to vote without intimidation, without fear of any kind. And they have nothing to fear because we have sufficient resources, we are sorted out, and we are totally ready to support and work with them as they go about these activities. Our brothers and sisters on the campaign trail, I think many of them have traversed, this country across the board, and they have been all over holding public meetings. And we thank the Lord that we haven't had any serious incident as such, and we have remained calm. Now we are on the home stretch. We're coming to the end of the campaign season. We urge them to be more responsible in their utterances, to think about the country, and to remember that, there will be Kenya after 9th of August. 9th is not the end of the world, and it's not the end of Kenya.
President Uhuru Kenyatta seems to intensify his attacks on the Deputy President William Ruto by labeling him as a corrupt person. Speaking in Nyanza and Western regions, the head of state termed his deputy as someone who cannot succeed him. Uhuru termed Raila Odinga his presidential bid as the most suitable, saying Odinga will save the country from corruption and take it from where he will leave it.
Mheshimiwa Rais, Your President of the Republic of Kenya, Mheshimiwa Rais, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Mheshimiwa Munya, waheshimiwa wabunge wenye wako hapa na viongozi wote wenye wako hapa,
wenzangu wa Bungoma. Wenzangu wa Bungoma, msicheze na moto. Si mumecheza na moto na mumeumia? Si mumecheza na moto na mumeumia? Munataka kurudi kwa moto ama munataka kuokoka? Munataka kuokoka? Njia ya kuokoka ni Baba. Nawaambia. Njia ya kuokoka ni nini? Njia ya kuokoka ni nini? Afadhali mzee ambaye ni mtulivu, ambaye hana haja ya kujaza mifuko yake, ambaye atachunga masilahi ya watu yake, badala ya mdomo tamtamu, lakini akiingia ni wale wa kufanya moja yako, nusu ya mwananchi, mbili yako, na 5 yangu. Na mnawajua nyinyi, mnawajua. Kwa sababu kama sio hiyo shida, kama sio hiyo shida, hii factory leo ingekuwa mara 20 ya ile iko leo. Kweli ama sio kweli? Kweli ama sio kweli? Kama ingekuwa na watu waaminifu, kama ingekuwa na watu ambao wako na nia ya kusaidia mkulima wa miwa, kama ingekuwa na watu ambao wako na nia ya kuinua maisha ya wananchi wa Bungoma, alright? Wengine wamekuwa mawaziri kutoka wakati enzi za Moi.
At the same time, Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga took his campaigns to Kisii County as part of his final trip to the county perceived to be his stronghold. During the tour of the county, Odinga rallied across at least 6 constituencies in a move aimed to solidify his vote in the region. Speaking to the residents in the regions, the Azimio Umoja presidential candidate gave numerous promises to their residents as he continued to break down his manifesto, promising that he shall deliver if he becomes the 5th president of Kenya.
Nyinyi ya kwamba hii tunavyoambia nyinyi mbeleni ni vita. Na sitaki nyinyi mpeleke mimi huko juu na Martha. Kwa wangapi wako tayari kupiga sisi kura mimi na Martha nione mkono? Sasa sitaki mtupeleke sisi kule juu na hapa chini mnaleta ajui wetu hapa. Wale wa Kenya kwisha. Hapa wale wa Kenya kwisha. Ukileta hao papo chini, wataenda wakanifinya makende. Nataka nifinywe? Nataka nifinywe? Mimi nataka mchague Azimio kutoka chini mpaka juu. Sawa sawa? Nikisema semeni Azimio. MCA, MP, Women Rep, Senator, Governor, Rais, Rais, sasa mimi nasema tutaendelea pamoja na nyinyi nyote. Yale ambayo mimi sitaki kuona kama wanaazimio wanawania kiti moja na hapa wale watu Kenya Kwisha napita katikati yao.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance led by DP Ruto have once again claimed that there is a plan to use the presidential administration to interfere with the August 9th election. Speaking in Nyeri and Murang'a, the formation has, however, reiterated their confidence of emerging victorious when Kenyans cast their vote on Tuesday next week.
Talala tumeoga. Neguo kana tiguo. Tarehe 8 tutalala tumefanya nini? Saa 9 tutakuwa kwa ballot. Pale tukikupigia kura. Sisi wote neguo.
Ni mshauri ndugu yetu Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Yale mambo yanapangwa na watu kwa ofisi yako. Kibisho, Matiang'i, ma-DCC na watu wa serikali yako. Wewe ukiwa ICC uliambia koti la ICC ati vita ya kisiasa yenye ilitokea 2007 ukasema mzigo and the buck stopped with the commander in chief ambaye alikuwa ni Rais Mwai Kibaki. Leo nataka nikuambie Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, today you are the commander in chief until you hand over to the next commander in chief, William Samoei Ruto. If you allow, Mr. President, any incidents of violence either on the day of polling or before the day of polling, the buck will stop squarely on your desk as a commander-in-chief.
Huyu Karaja Kebisho PS ameita machifu wetu na kuwaonga na pesa ati wakuja watafute kura ya Azimio. Nyinyi si wanaweza mwambia pahali mtapeleka kura? Kama tumemwambia Uhuru Kenyatta atembee, chifu anaweza kuambia pahali mtapeleka kura yako? Mimi nataka kuomba machifu wetu, nyinyi ni watoto wetu, nyinyi ni wakubwa wetu na tunakaa na nyinyi hapa. Tafadhali mheshimu raia. Kazi ya siasa hapana kazi yenu. Hiyo pesa mnapatiwa na Kibicho, nunulia bibi ya kwako Marinda akae sawa sawa.
So tafadhali rais, hatuja kutukana. Wale walikutukana ni wale wanajifanya ati wao ni marafiki wako sasa. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Lakini mimi nauliza nyinyi watu wa Murang'a, na wauliza kwa unyenyekevu. Mimi nauliza nyinyi, sisi ndio tuliunga mkono Uhuru Kenyatta 2013 na 2017. Si Uhuru Kenyatta alituambia ule mtu ni muhoroki? Ama alisemaje? Si alituambia? Mimi nauliza nyinyi, yani hata kama tumeishiwa kiasi gani watu wa Murang'a, yani ati tumekosa mtu ya kutuongoza kwa hii watu milioni 10 tuliungana mpaka twende tukodeshe mtu ya kitendawili ati aongoze sisi? Hapana, hapana, hapana.
President Uhuru Kenyatta on Tuesday commissioned the Kisumu shipyard and floating of MV Uhuru 2, which is the first ship to be built locally. Construction of the ship, which is now floating Lake Victoria, is nearing completion and is expected to be commissioned later this year to complement the old MV1 Uhuru built in 1966. The head of state was accompanied by Defense CS Eugene Wamalwa, Industrialization CS Betty Maina, Treasury CS Ukuria Tani, among others.
So, sir, we've constructed the hull of the ship.
This is one of them.
Result of our growing efforts in infrastructure development, as well as in the development of industries such as shipbuilding, the increase in housing, backward linkages are already being created For in a few months, we will be commissioning a steel manufacturing plant in Mombasa that has been triggered by the demand for steel products in various industries, such as the one we are here to celebrate today.
Well, indeed, it's a good thing to see that actually Kenya is a country, not only in the region, but in the continent, that has built a ship locally. That is a big up to the government, and we expect more of these to come. I'm told that we want to look at what is happening on the major roads leading into the city this morning. I'm told that my colleague Dennis Munene was earlier on Mombasa Road to give us an update on how the roads are leading to the city this morning.
A very good morning to you, Vincent. Welcoming live to you from this South B flyover right here along Mombasa Road. Well, we're just here just to keep you up to date about the traffic in our roads today, whereby today, as you can see, the traffic seems to be snarling up. But earlier on today, as from 6 a.m., the traffic was a bit clear, but now, as you can see, as you have seen, is that along Mombasa Road the traffic is actually currently snarling up. Just remember that it's just when the schools of CS Magoha ordered the closure of schools, that is yesterday, that all the schools should be closed yesterday. That means that there'll be a heavy traffic today from yesterday, today and tomorrow. We expect to have a heavy traffic. So just to make sure that you're on the safe side, I would kindly just request you just to make sure that you choose alternative routes as you are on these roads, because as you can see along Mombasa Road, the traffic is actually catching up. You can see that from this side, from Lolongo to towards the CBD, the traffic is almost catching up. And if you see the other side of Nyayo area, you'll see and notice that the traffic is actually catching up as you enter to the CBD. Well, from the Globe roundabout is that now the traffic is really snarling up. The traffic is a bit slow from as you enter the CBD along a Globe roundabout. The traffic is really heavy. So I would kindly urge, if you're on that road, you can just choose an alternative to use. Well, along Kenyatta Avenue towards Odeon Cinemax, the traffic seems to be a bit not that heavy, but all the way from Moi Avenue towards entrance of CBD, well, the traffic seems to be clear. The roads are clear over there. Kipande Road, well, the traffic also seems to be clear on that side, but towards Ngara to Thika, around Fig Tree, at that point the traffic is really heavy. So kindly, if you're on that road, kindly check in and make sure you use an alternative route that you could kindly find, because the traffic seems to be a bit heavy around Guru Nanak Hospital towards Thika Road. The area also seems to have a heavy traffic. Well, along Ring Road Ngara, that area seems also to have quite a heavy traffic. Well, just to look at other roads, is that Juja Road seems to be a bit Juja Road seems to be a bit snarling up. The traffic is really heavy at around Mlango Kubwa roundabout. I am told and I'm informed that the traffic is really heavy around North View Road towards Pangani Vision Center, or rather Pangani Police Station. Well, the area is a bit well, I apologize for that. The area is about the area is clear for traffic, and all along from Muthaiga Square towards Nairobi, the traffic is really heavy. So from Muthaiga towards the CBD, and also at Kenya Utalii College, I can see also the traffic is also heavy. So well, you're just right up to date for the traffic news update. You're just up to date for the traffic news updates, and that's just what's happening in the roads. I'm informed that people are a bit careful since very early in the morning today. We have not experienced any cases of any accident maybe that has happened on our roads today. But what I would urge you to do is just make sure that you be safe, just to make sure that you ensure the safety of others on the roads, because you know that students have closed the schools, and right now we have a lot of students actually in the CBD, and of course who are traveling using the PSV matatus and also some other means of transport. So rather be careful on the roads, just to keep safety of you and the other person on the road. Dennis Munene for traffic updates, Kirk TV.
Well, that happens always. It was my colleague earlier, Dennis Munene, advising to take alternative routes. And if you're on Mombasa Road, an alternative route that you can take, of course, is the Nairobi Expressway. Of course, you are going to part with a few of your coins from your pocket, but it's worth it. We are taking a short commercial break, but we will be back. Remember that you can join this conversation this morning on our socials, Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook, Kirk TV_KE on Twitter, and of course our SMS number. Don't forget my personal handle at Vin K. Rossi on Twitter. Just engage us and tell us, are you ready to vote? Are you ready with the preparation of IBC? And what do you take of the political rhetorics coming from the main players? That is what we are going to talk about this morning in our countdown to the election D-Day. Don't go away. I'm due back with my guests in studio.
We welcome your feedback on our programming. For questions or comments, kindly get in touch with us via email info@kirktv.org, SMS 011120044, or call us on 0794 588 054.
Celestine Kemunto. I'm taking a bachelor's in business information technology. I chose ZTech because first of all, ZTech has been ranked among the best in ICT, and I thought it will be best. It will be best for my course. First of all, there are so many ICT labs in ZTech University, which enables students, mostly those who are pursuing IT courses, to get to know more about their courses, of which the labs have so many computers which have Ethernet, which is easier for them to browse. If I were given a chance to choose another university, I'll definitely choose ZTech University.
Apply today. ZTech University. Invent your future.
On this week's episode of Know Your Laws, we walk in the corridors of justice.
These small claims courts are very important and paramount courts in this country.
We interrogate the newest development in the structure of the Kenyan judiciary, the Small Claims Court, a basic type of court established under the Small Claims Act of 2016 and later implemented under the Amendment Bill of 2020 that was signed by President Uhuru Kenyatta and began its operation on April 27th of 2021.
And the whole essence of us bringing cases to these courts are for them to be handled faster. The monetary jurisdiction of the Small Claims Court is 1 million. And if I have any matter that goes beyond, I still have a chance to go to another court.
The Small Claim Court has widely spread all over the country. However, little is known about this court, and that's our focus on this episode.
Are you ready for Israel? PCEA head office is pleased to inform all presbyteries, parishes, churches, congregations and friends of our PCEA annual trip to Israel. The 10-day trip to the Holy Land will happen this September from the 18th to 27th, 2022. The trip to Israel through Egypt will include visit sites like the pyramids, Mara, the Hanging Church, the Burning Bush, Mount Sinai, and then to Israel through the Suez Canal. That will include visits to the Dead Sea, Kibbutz, the Menja, the Temptation Mount, Gethsemane, Old Jerusalem, Caesarea Park, St. Peter's in Galligantu, Emmaus, Capernaum, Jordan River, Galilee, among others. We would love to have you join us on this annual trip to Israel. For bookings, contact Rose on 0721 511 524 or 0721 511 524.
What a wonderful year our dear God has granted to us. 2022 Boys and Girls Brigade Week. Our theme this year comes from the book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 6. And the Bible says, "The Lord is my helper, I'll not be afraid. What can a mere mortal do to me?" Therefore, from the same theme, we get a consolidated theme of we invite all of you to join us in our programs that are lined up for you in the whole week. We have wonderful morning devotions brought to you from different parts of the Republic of Kenya by young children preaching the Word of God.
My dear parents, my dear brothers and sisters, I want to encourage you with one thing. Tell God, I have to go with you.
We also have wonderful programs brought to you by the hosts of different programs in the CAC TV majoring on children affairs. Therefore, we invite all of you, children and adults, to join us and have a fantastic week. The climax of the whole week will be on Sunday, when we have wonderful services brought to you through the TV and our YouTube channel and Facebook from different parishes within the Presbyterian Church of East Africa. Note the one that will be coming to you from the neighboring country, St. John's, Kinondoni in Tanzania. We believe that you are going to have a fantastic week of the week as we look forward for next week when we have the general elections, considering trusting in God.
Waters scorching your latest breath on the rising tide, you can never fail when your anchor holds deep in the...
Thank you for sticking with us. This is Kirk in the Morning. My name is Vincent Kirosi. As I told you earlier, you can engage with us on our socials, Kirk TV Kenya, Facebook, Kirk TV_KE, on Twitter, and of course our SMS number that is on your screens this morning. Now we are due into our conversation this morning, and I'm joined in the studio by two great men here. One is Steve Ogola. He is, of course, I want to get his title right because it's a big title. He's a political analyst, researcher, and crusader. You're going to help us understand what a crusader, a political crusader means actually. And of course, in studio again on my far right is Paul Siamba. He's the MCA aspirant. Are you still an aspirant or candidate?
Candidate.
You're a candidate of Mudhwani Ward, Machakos County. Of course, we are going to talk about your policy down there. But before then, I want to welcome you guys in studio. And I want to begin with you, Mr. Crusader. What is the meaning of political crusader, even as we begin?
Generally, thank you very much.
Yeah.
From the obvious meaning,
Yeah.
a political crusader is there to champion for social change through the political platform. So we are here to ensure that we champion for the public interest through political crusades. That's simply what it means by a political crusader.
All right, let's go right into it. I want us to begin our talk today, even as we count down to the August polls. That is just 5 days down the line. I want us to begin by asking ourselves, how ready are we from the IBC? Because if you look at the standard, the top page of the standard today, they're talking about the 8 people that will matter in this contest. And one of them is the chairman of the IBC, Wafula Chebukati. And there is a tag there, the referee. Elections are emotive. IEBC, through its actions, can inspire confidence before the election and during transmission of results. Just talk about that. The actions of IEBC, are they inspiring confidence to the electorate this morning? Bana Steve.
IBC has tried its level best to ensure that it's going to deliver verifiable, free and fair elections. Previously, there was a problem that was raised by the presidential candidates teams. That is the Azimio team and the Kenya Kwanza team. They were basing their arguments on the reports released by Auditor General, dated back to 14th March 2022, that some critical election technology equipment was stolen. That includes the VBR kits, the KM kits, and some laptops. But IBC, on their own part, they gave us an assurance that the BVR kits that got lost have no critical essence in the coming elections. They have tried to tell us how prepared they are. For instance, they have given us the assurance that they are in cooperation with the National Police Service to ensure that the ballot papers will be safeguarded both at the warehouse and also on transistor. Besides that, IBC chairman has assured Kenyans that the essential presidential tabulation of forms, that is the forms 34Bs, and the rest have got key security features, both visible and non-visible, which will ensure that there will be no kind of any alteration during the results. So on my own opinion, I believe that IBC has tried a lot to ensure that the elections will be very free and fair. So they are completely prepared.
They're completely prepared. Talk about the same IBC, Bwana Paul. There was an issue with their communication, but nowadays they seem to have changed. They have changed their tact, and now there is at least a daily update to the media on how the preparedness is. Yesterday we heard that now they have started pinning the register of the voters in various polling stations. The KM's kits are already in the county electoral levels, waiting to be distributed to the various polling stations. Are you glad? Are you happy with the communication now, the tact of communicating from the IEBC?
You see, like last week I was attending the training of the chief agent, and I was there. Preparing and conducting free and fair elections is another thing. For example, nikikueleza kwa ufupi, ni ya kwamba free and fair elections, everybody talking, even the politician. We need free and fair election. But unapoangalia IBC na vile wamejipanga, sioni kama wataconduct free and fair election.
Kwa nini? Kwa nini unasema hivyo? Sababu ya kufanya useme hivyo ni ipi?
Sababu ni ya kwamba kuanzia preparation vile walianza, until today hawajakuwa clear ya kwamba the communication yao haijakuwa vizuri kwa candidates. In fact, wameanza communication late ya kwamba kuita candidate wa Azimio pamoja na Kenya Kwanza, but it was very late. Tulikuwa tunatarajia kwamba wafanye the communication to the candidate early enough. Lakini let us hope that they are going to conduct free and fair election now, because sasa ni duty ambayo wako nayo sahi. And sahi you cannot replace the IBC kwa sababu wao ndio wako na mandate ya kufanya hiyo kazi.
Kwa hivyo kivyako unahisi kwamba watajaribu lakini hawakupatii ile confidence
hawanipei ile confidence because they are panicking. Even Chebukati mwenyewe hana confidence in himself. Na let us hope ya kwamba wataconduct kura vizuri, kura itapigwa vizuri, na itakuwa kura ya huru, ya kwamba haitaleta shida katika wananchi. Unajua kama kura watu wanapiga and then confidence ya IBC yenyewe hawako sure ya kwamba wao wenyewe wako na confidence ya kupiga kura, wananchi wanaanza shida. And that's the problem we are having in Kenya's political arena, because wakati for example nikikupeleka nyuma kidogo, wakati kura zilipigwa 2017 during the polling day kupiga kura sio shida. Wananchi wataingia kuanzia asubuhi mpaka jioni utapiga kura. Shida inaanza wakati wa kuhesabu. Wakati wa kuhesabu ndio sasa the monkey business inaanza. And they must assure the Kenyans and also the security apparatus ya kwamba kila kitu kitakuwa sawa, wataanza kuhesabu mapema vizuri, na isiende ifike ya kwamba between 2 days 3 days bado wanahesabu kura presidential election.
Bila shaka. In talking about counting, yesterday the IBC chairman of Chebukati came out clearly and said we are not going to announce the presidential winner at night. We'll do it at broad daylight. Is that, a tact and a move to show that they are ready and they don't want in any way to create fear amongst Kenyans?
My brother, before you answer that question, give me just less than a minute to comment on the communication of IBC.
You got it.
As my colleague puts it, IBC has been slow or reluctant to communicate, especially on their means of preparation. To me, I think that's a strategy to avoid political interferences and intolerance. Imagine sitting for an exam, which you already know the person setting the exam, you know where the exam is being set. We will obviously expect that some people will be trying their level best to get prior information ahead of the rest. That's why ABC tried to ensure that they were keeping their secrets or cards under the table. That is to raise confidence on the electorates, because generally people will imagine a scenario whereby the deep state is interfering, as we always perceive that the deep state has got some longer hands whereby they can get prior information. So in a scenario whereby even the deep state itself or the government do not know where the ballot papers were being printed, when they will be arriving in the country, then normal citizens will gain confidence that all right, this time around the IBC is trying their level best to ensure no politician has got an upper hand. Coming back to the issue, the question you just asked right now.
Yeah.
I believe that the issue of maybe elections and the election conduct, the IBC have tried this time around to ensure that as Kenyans we are going to get the best from the deliveries. We are going to ensure that when people get to the election day, the elections will be counted at the votes will be counted at the right time, the results will be produced at the right time, and nothing will be hidden from the people. We remember a scenario in 2007 when the country experienced a political quagmire. It was because of the results being announced at night, we know what happened before the results were announced. There was complete blackout for some time. Generally, it was perceived that during the blackout, there was some monkey business going on at the IBC. When power, when the country gained power, the results had changed. The president was, sworn in at wee hours of the night, and people were not very comfortable with that. It's only things that were not done right that are implemented in the dark. When IBC assures us that they will announce the results during the day, and when everyone will be watching, it means they are giving us the guarantee that they will not be hiding anything from the citizens. And when they announce it during the day, everyone will be in the position to question in case anything will not be going right. So that's just an assurance. We need to have confidence in IBC. The chairman is telling us, you need not to be afraid, have confidence in us. We are going to give you the best. Yes.
Yeah, then talk about the right time. What's the right time for them to announce? Because we know constitutionally they have 7 days since polling to announce the results. So when you say the right time in terms of counting, what do you mean?
When I say the right time, I simply mean they will take the best of their time to ensure they verify the results, they enter the correct results, they do not make errors during counting. They will have all the time they need within the 7 days to provide the best to Kenyans.
Okay. And you were talking about you feel that they are panicking, IBC is panicking, but to them they are very ready. Actually, this week they've already started distributing the necessary, materials that are essential and non-essential as far as the elections are concerned. And they're already in the polling stations, like the registers already been pinned. Why do you feel that they are panicking from your side? For me, I feel that they're actually, before they're doing it ahead of time.
You see, being ready is not about saying it.
No, they are doing it actually.
It's about preparation.
Pin the voter register on the polling station.
Acha niguze what my brother has talked about, announcing the result at daytime. You can announce the result even in the morning. Inategemea kura ilipigwa saa ngapi, ikaisha saa ngapi, wakahesabu saa ngapi. Kama kura, for example, watu wamepiga kuanzia tuseme tuanza asubuhi na mapema, ifike jioni vituo zinafungwa 5 and then wameanza kuhesabu kura, na kuhesabu ishe kitu kama saa 6 usiku. You cannot wait until the day or in the morning the next day to announce the result. You announce the result mahali result zimeingia. Kwa hivyo IBC kusema ya kwamba they are not going to announce the results at night, they can also announce at the daytime na bado kura itaibiwa. Kutangaza results usiku na mchana, it doesn't make ya kwamba kura itaibiwa wakati gani. Kwa hivyo ni confidence ambayo tunataka kwa IBC kama sisi kama candidate ya kwamba kura ipigwe vizuri, free and fair, tallying iendelee, wahesabu kura, napomaliza watangaze mshindi. Wasingojee mpaka, unajua ukikumbuka 2007 kura ilipigwa mpaka the returning officers hawaonekani na result. Mnawangoja, IBC yenyewe ilikuwa inasema by then ilikuwa ile ya Kivuitu. Walikuwa nasema hata hawajui the returning officers wako wapi na result. So hivi leo tunasema ya kwamba, na vile nilikuwa na returning officer wetu wa Mavoko, Jane alituhakikishia kwamba loopholes za kuiba kura itakuwa tricky. Na hatusemi ya kwamba watu, najua kura inaibiwa wakati watu wanaleta fujo, especially masaa ya jioni. Unaanza furugu and then stuffing inaanza. Kwa hivyo IBC lazima wahakikishie wa Kenya watakuwa na kura ya free and fair, na let us put the confidence in electorate.
In the electorate.
Yeah.
Of course, kama umeambiwa kabisa na mmoja wenu kule, umesema kwamba your returning officer of Mavoko constituency has told you that everything is set and the loopholes are closed and they are ready to deliver credible, fair elections to you. So we believe that the IBC are ready, as you've said, and they are ready to do that. You wanted to chip in?
I want to intervene on the issue of timing. It is expected that when IBC tries to announce doctored results, it will be met with a public outburst. So if elections will be, the results will be announced at night, it simply means that the reaction will be minimal and the effect will be low, since majority will be asleep. But when it's announced during the day, when everyone is keen and paying attention to every little detail provided by the IBC, it means if something will be doctored, then the public outburst will be critical and it might have severe effect on the peace of the country. So when the IBC talk about announcing results during the day, it simply means that there will be no expected public outburst as a result of free, fair and verifiable elections. That is why they are talking about during the day.
All right, I want us to talk a little bit on security during the election, before, during and after the elections. And I want us to play a particular bite by the Interior CS Matiang'i on the same yesterday, talking about the 8 people that were 8 suspects that are arrested in connection with the circulation of hate speech leaflets in Oasinigishu. Then we talk about elections and security, or security during the elections.
It's frustrating and unfortunate that those who are saying those things are actually supposed to be leaders. But I have asked my colleagues, all chiefs across the country, all my colleagues in Ingao, national government administration, at all levels, assistant chief to county commissioner to regional commissioner, ignore these people. We are not politicians. This country has been held together by the national government administration. In times like this, it is these security people who hold our country together. And they worked so hard. Many of them hardly sleep. They work so hard to make sure that we are peaceful, to make sure that our country is stable, and we are moving forward to do what we have to do. Some of those claims are outrageous and ridiculous. None of us is doing any of those things. I am convinced, beyond any shadow of doubt, I have intelligence officers here who will tell you Kenyans are determined to be peaceful. They love their country. They want a peaceful country. And you will see, I don't think there's going to be any problem. By now, we'll have gotten information if there was going to be any challenge. Even though it took us hours to get a hold of those people, the suspects that we now have, we are not going to pass judgment on them. As a law-abiding government, we are going to take them to a court of law. That's what we are supposed to do. We are ready as security sector players to provide support to the IBC to conduct the general elections on the 9th. We are ready totally to do this. And we have sufficient resources. Every Kenyan, whether they live in the Rift Valley or elsewhere in the country, need to understand one thing. They are free to go and vote. They should wake up in the morning on 9th and exercise their democratic right to vote without intimidation, without fear of any kind. And they have nothing to fear because we have sufficient resources, we are sorted out, and we are totally ready to support and work with them as they go about these activities. Our brothers and sisters on the campaign trail, I think many of them have traversed this country across the board, and they have been all over holding public meetings. And we thank the Lord that we haven't had any serious incident as such, and we have remained calm. Now we are on the home stretch. We're coming to the end of the campaign season. We urge them to be more responsible in their utterances, to think about the country, and to remember that, there will be Kenya after 9th of August. 9th is not the end of the world, and it's not the end of Kenya.
That's the Interior CS Fred Matiang'i talking about the confidence that they have that Kenya is going to, of course, maintain peace before, during, and after the elections. Let's talk about the leaflets that are bringing issues right now. Can you, for a moment, talk about that? Why now, and what's the timing of this leaflet? May be it as it may, they might not be genuine, they might be, cooked, if I may say so, but the timing, what about the timing at this moment?
Brother Vincent, it's very unfortunate that at such a juncture, the Kenya can still experience a situation whereby such leaflets are distributed in different parts of the country, considering the experience we've had before of election pre or post-election violence. The availability of such leaflets evoked various concerns, and of course different reactions from different sides of the political divide. Whereas the side of the Kenya Kwanza were claiming that that was a ploy by the Kenyan government to deploy extra forces in certain regions. In my opinion, I don't think the Kenyan government can take the joke that far. It's not very possible that the security agencies can literally or intentionally decide to produce such leaflets, because they are very provocative. They can provoke the local residents to maybe create chaos or attack each other baselessly and unreasonably. The timing for those leaflets is not encouraging. However, one thing I believe in is that regardless of whether they are real or they are fake, the security agency has got that fundamental role of ensuring that every Kenyan will be safe. The government has tried its best, its level best, to protect every Kenyan, irrespective of the political affiliation. During the election day, both the supporters of UDA, supporters of the Azimio, supporters of Wajakoya, and every presidential candidate will be safe, as guaranteed. If you can see the clip by the interior CS, they are guaranteeing that everybody will be safe. So we can only urge everybody across the country to ensure that we cooperate, vote, go back home and wait for the results. That's what we can say for now.
Yes, bwana Siamba, nataka uchangie kidogo uzungumzie swala la uchaguzi huu ambao tunaenda kufanya na pia na usalama ambao tunatarajia. Umemsikiza waziri wa usalama wa ndani Fred Matiang'i akizungumza na kusema kwamba anaamini kwamba matakuwa sawa, licha kwamba kuna tetesi kwamba hata machifu wanahusika kwa masuala kama hayo. Of course tutakuja kuzungumzia hilo baadaye, lakini ningependa tu kwa kidogo tuzungumzie kuhusiana na usalama wakati wa uchaguzi. Wewe kama mgombea mmoja wa wadhifa katika uchaguzi huu.
Katika uchaguzi huu usalama ni jambo ambalo ni la muhimu. Kwa sababu unapoangalia vile security wamejipanga, na Matiang'i aliguzia jana ya kwamba yeye ni kiongozi wa yeye ni interior minister CS wa security. Watu ambao anafaa kukutana na wao ni wale wa security. Kama daktari angekuwa ni kama ni tuseme kama ni kago, angekutana na madaktari kwa sababu kila mtu akona doketi yake. Kwa hivyo vile kulingana na zile makaratasi ambazo zilikuwa zimesambazwa katika sehemu moja ya nchi, na kulikuwa na wanasiasa, for example upande wa Kenya Kwanza walikuwa wanasema ya kwamba ni NSIS ndio walikuwa wameandika na wakaweza kuleta hizo kusambaza katika sehemu hiyo. Hili ni jambo ambalo tunafaa tulitilie manani, na vile Fred Matiang'i alisema ya kwamba jana kulikuwa na watu ambao waliweza kukamatwa. So wacha tuangalie ya kwamba wale wakamatwa watapelekwa kotini na waseme ya kwamba walikuwa wametumwa na nani. Ndio tujue ya kwamba mambo ya security na election ni mambo ambayo hatuwezi kuweka pembeni.
Ni swala muhimu
katika uchaguzi, kwa sababu watu wengi huumia wakati wa uchaguzi, especially wa mama na watoto. Kwa hivyo security apparatus lazima wafanye kazi yao. Na upande wa UDA wasipanic.
Singependa tutaje chama chochote katika mazungumzo haya. Maana yake mazungumzo ni ya wazi, hatuhusishi chama chochote. We want to take a short break, but we'll be back and talk more about security and of course the involvement or the claims that the provincial administration is involved in the matters elections, because course, on the campaign trail, especially from the other Kenya Kwanza, have really gone deep to talk about that, and they were answered by the CS yesterday. We are due for a short break, then we'll come back, talk about that and more on the incumbency and its effect on the coming election. Don't go away, keep engaging us on our socials, Kirk TV Kenya, Facebook Kirk TV and KE, on Twitter, and of course on Instagram and even TikTok as well.
On this week's episode of Know Your Laws, we walk in the corridors of justice.
These small claims courts are very important and paramount courts in this country.
We interrogate the newest development in the structure of the Kenyan judiciary, the Small Claims Court, a basic type of court established under the Small Claims Act of 2016 and later implemented under the Amendment Bill of 2020 that was signed by President Uhuru Kenyatta and began its operation on April 27th of 2021.
And the whole essence of us bringing cases to these courts are for them to be handled faster. The monetary jurisdiction of the Small Claims Court is 1 million. And if I have any matter that goes beyond, I still have a chance to go to another court.
The Small Claim Court has widely spread all over the country. However, little is known about this court, and that's our focus on this episode.
Welcome back. This is Kirk in the Morning, and thank you for sticking with us. I'm still in studio with my two panelists, Steve Ogola, political analyst, researcher, and crusader, and of course Paul Siamba is an MCA candidate for Mudhwani Ward. Mudhwani is in Mavoko, Machakos County. Yes, of course they're in studio to talk about matters countdown to the general elections. 5 days to the general elections. We are talking about security, and there has been talks and claims from, especially from the Kenya Kwanza, on the involvement of the provincial administration in matters election, and this an issue they are using to campaign all along. How true is this, and do you think this is going to tilt the landscape towards their side, Steve?
I do not think the provincial administration officers have got an impact in persuading voters or swaying their opinion towards a particular direction. They have to be involved on matters security, because at the ground level they understand their localities better than any other security agency on the top. However, you'll realize that the sideshows created by the Kenya Kwanza might be because Ruto has been in the government. He played a key role in the 2017 elections, and probably they might have been in the position to use those security agencies in the previous elections towards their favor in one way or the other. That's why they might be having some fears that probably in these elections the government is still using the teams for their own political gains. However, I do not think they will have a significant impact, because they are like just any other ordinary Kenyan who have got only one vote. Just like the president always keeps saying it, that I just have one vote. By the end of it all, the chief, the DO, or the assistant county commissioner can only have a say on matters security, but not matters elections.
So it's a case of just a campaigning tool, you think, from the Kenya Kwanza?
So from the Kenya Kwanza,
they know because...
From the Kenya Kwanza, probably they think, because they have been there before. Remember, there are people who have been in government. They might have used these people inappropriately in the previous years, and therefore they think that in these elections they can also be used for the same purpose. But considering the previous things that have been going on, you will only see either the CS or the interior PS, that is the Kibicho and Matiangi. They have to meet these people in person because they are in charge of security. The critical concern here is we have had cases of post-elections or pre-elections violence before, and we do not want a repeat of the same. The only people who will ensure that we are safe are these administrative agencies.
Do you think because Matiangi and Kibicho seem to have taken sides, because yesterday we saw Matiangi attending a rally in Kisii where the Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga was. Is it a case of, you know, they have already taken sides and this is creating jitters because now they are spearheading the security sector, but again, they are already on a campaign trail for a particular presidential candidate?
We have a Matiangi who is a voter, and we also have a Matiangi who is a CS.
How do you distinguish the two?
As Kenyans, we need to know the small margin between these two people. Matiangi, the voter, has to make a choice on whom he is going to vote for, and seemingly has chosen Raila Odinga.
But again, as a CS, he needs to be neutral as possible.
Matiangi, the CS, has tried to be neutral in his whole activities, because I do not think there is any single day he has always insisted or shown ways of manipulating the security agencies in favor of the Azimio presidential team. When we look at the Kenya Kwanza team campaigning, we always see them with the police. We always see them with the security. Same applies even to Wajakoya. It will have only been unfair if Matiangi provided the Azimio presidential candidate with the security, but denies the same favors, and actually it's not a favor, denies the Kenya Kwanza presidential candidate the same right. But this is a situation whereby he has always provided security equally for all teams, including the person whom we consider the lowest in the ladder, the Angano Party presidential candidate. They are all treated equally in terms of security.
Mchango wako ni upi Bwana Siamba katika suala hili la usalama? Manake tumeona kwamba ndio waziri anasema kwamba inawezekana mimi upande wangu kama waziri nitahakikisha kwamba usalama unatosha, lakini pia utabona ameshika mikrofoni na mpiga vigelegele kweli kweli katika mkutano wa kisiasa.
Hata wewe pia umesema inawezekana, and it is possible. You see?
No, I didn't use that term to refer to
Okay,
political formation.
Kenya Kwanza, vile ndugu yangu amesema, ni ya kwamba unapoangalia mikutano yao, kuna maaskari wengi sana. Mbona sisi hatuulizi ya kwamba maaskari walienda mkutano kufanya nini? Matiang'i kwenda mkutano si makosa, ni Mkenya. Anaweza enda mkutano kama supporters maybe wa baba, na pia anaweza enda mkutano kama CS kuhakikisha kwamba security ya hawa watu ambao wamekuja mkutano iko katika mikono salama. Unajua watu wa Kenya Kwanza wamesha panic. You see, during 2017 election, Matiang'i alikuwa upande huu mwingine, walikuwa pamoja President Uhuru Kenyatta na Deputy President walikuwa katika sehemu moja. Na Matiang'i alikuwa anatembea na wao. Kibicho walikuwa anatembea na wao. Walikuwa na all security. Lakini Deputy President hakuweza raise issues concerning ya kwamba mbona mfanyikazi wa serikali ambaye ameajiriwa anatembea na wao. Lakini kwa sababu vitu zimebadilika na hawako pamoja, and that's why unaona ya kwamba wanaleta shida ya kwamba wana accuse Matiang'i na Kibicho. Let me tell you ya kwamba kuna wakati baba alisema ya kwamba even Pop mwenyewe ukimpatia ballot box ataweza kupigia mtu, atapiga kura. There's nothing like neutral. Hakuna kitu inaitwa neutral. Ya kwamba kila mtu atakuwa na side yake. Lakini sasa kulingana na kazi ambayo amepewa, anafaa kuchunga kila mtu. Lakini during the election akona sides.
Akona side,
lakini ile ambayo ataweza
kwa mwananchi wa kawaida hili atalielewa namna gani? Maana kuna yule mwananchi wa kawaida aliyeko upande wa Kenya Kwanza, kule yule wa kawaida aliyeko upande wa Azimio la Umoja, na wote wanaamini kwamba kunafaa kuwa na usalama kila mahali. Na wanapokuona kwamba yule kiongozi ambaye anafaa kuhakikisha usalama wa kila Mkenya bila kuangalia upande wote wa kisiasa, yupo katika upande mmoja wa kisiasa, wajua ile linashtua kidogo mwananchi wa kawaida.
Si mwananchi wa kawaida haijaanza leo. Mwananchi wa kawaida walianza kwa na 2017. Kwa sababu hayo maswali tungeuliza tu from 2017. Ya kwamba hatuwezi anza 2022 ya kwamba mwananchi wa kawaida ataweza kufili namna gani. Because during 2017 pia walikuwa side moja. Na sisi ambao tulikuwa katika upande wa opposition, tuliona kwamba tunadhulumiwa. Na tuliona kwamba tumeachwa nyuma. Lakini sasa wakati Uhuru Kenyatta na Raila Odinga waliposalimiana na vitu zikaanza kubadilika, ndio tunaona ya kwamba sasa watu wanaanza kuraisi ya kwamba mwananchi wa kawaida. Mwananchi wa kawaida hana shida. Ni ya kwamba during the election katika tarehe 9 kura ikuje, wewe utachagua yule ambaye unataka. Kura itahesabiwa and the winner ataweza kuannouncewa na Kenya itaendelea.
Na bila shaka I would like us to get a sound bite of Kenya Kwanza campaigning in Mount Kenya yesterday. They were in Murang'a and they were in Nyeri. I want us to, because that is when they continue the sentiments against the use of what they claim is the use of their provincial administration in trying to sway the voter towards a particular side during these political divides.
Tumejipanga tarehe 8 tutalala tumeoga. Neguo kana tiguo. Tarehe 8 tutalala tumefanya nini? Saa 9 tutakuwa kwa ballot. Pale tukikupigia kura sisi wote neguo.
Ni mshauri ndugu yetu Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Yale mambo yanapangwa na watu kwa ofisi yako. Kibisho, Matiang'i, DCC na watu wa serikali yako. Wewe ukiwa ICC uliambia koti la ICC ati vita ya kisiasa yenye ilitokea 2007, ukasema mzigo and the buck stopped with the commander in chief ambaye alikuwa ni Rais Mwai Kibaki. Leo nataka nikuambie Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, today you are the commander in chief until you hand over to the next commander in chief, William Samoei Ruto. If you allow, Mr. President, any incidents of violence, either on the day of polling or before the day of polling, the buck will stop squarely on your desk as a commander-in-chief.
Huyu Karaja Kebisho PS ameita machifu wetu na kuwaonga na pesa ati wakuja watafute kura ya Azimio. Nyinyi si wanaweza mwambia pale mtapeleka kura? Kama tumemwambia Uhuru Kenyatta atembee, chifu anaweza kuambia pale mtapeleka kura yako? Mimi nataka kuomba machifu wetu, nyinyi ni watoto wetu, nyinyi ni wakubwa wetu na tunakaa na nyinyi hapa. Tafadhali mheshimu raia. Kazi ya siasa hapana kazi yenu. Hiyo pesa mnapatiwa na Kibicho, nunulia bibi ya kwako Marinda akae sawasawa.
So tafadhali rais, hatuja kutukana. Wale walikutukana ni wale wanajifanya ati wao ni marafiki wako sasa. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Lakini mimi nauliza nyinyi watu wa Murang'a, na wauliza kwa unyenyekevu. Mimi nauliza nyinyi, sisi ndio tuliunga mkono Uhuru Kenyatta 2013 na 2017. Si Uhuru Kenyatta alituambia ule mtu ni muhoroki? Ama alisemaje? Si alituambia? Mimi nauliza nyinyi, yani hata kama tumeishiwa kiasi gani watu wa Murang'a, yani ati tumekosa mtu ya kutuongoza kwa hii watu milioni 10, tuliungana mpaka twende tukodeshe mtu ya kitendawili ati aongoze sisi? Hapana, hapana, hapana.
Those are sentiments from the Kenya Kwanza Brigade campaigning yesterday Murang'a and Nyeri counties. Kwa hivyo umesema kwamba wakati ule ilikuwa wao kuvuna, sasa ni wakati wa upande wa Azimio kuvuna upande hukwe.
Yeah, not especially ni wakati wa Azimio kuvuna, but unapoangalia maongezi yao sana sana wanaongelelea Uhuru Kenyatta, na Uhuru Kenyatta hayuko katika ballot. Number 2, wamekosa kuuza sera zao. You see, kulingana na wao, kila mtu ambaye anaongea, maongezi ya kila mtu ni Uhuru Kenyatta. Lakini as Kenyans you are interested in policies, ya kwamba ni kitu gani ambacho kutakuja kuwafanyia wa Kenya. Lakini mkutano wote kila mtu akianza kuongelea the president ambaye amebakisha siku 8, in fact 5 days aende nyumbani, unakosa kuelezea wa Kenya kila ambacho tuwafanyia. Na ni kama ni strategy yao ya kwamba, kwa sababu watu wengi wamekuwa na hii narrative ya kwamba Uhuru hajafanya kazi, na hiyo narrative imekuwa katika upande wa Kenya Kwanza. Now they have shifted their political agenda kuelekea kwa Uhuru Kenyatta. Na in fact mtu ambaye ako katika kwa ballot ni Raila Odinga na William Ruto. Wangekuwa na focus kwa Raila Odinga na David Mwaura na Profesa Wajakoya. Lakini sasa wamebadilisha manifesto yao. Ile ambayo waliweza kulaunch pale Kasarani wameibadilisha, imekuwa ni Uhuru Kenyatta. It's unfortunate, na tunaelezea watu wetu ya kwamba sisi kama Azimio hatutaweza kuengage katika mazungumzo yao. Unajua watu wanapokuwa pamoja katika marriage na wamekosana, you don't invite a neighbor kukuja kusolve issue yenu. Msipo kaa chini nyinyi wenyewe na kusolve issues, the buck stops with you.
Yeah. And that is it. I want us now to shift gears and talk about the power of incumbency, and I want us to connect this with what the DP said there about Rais sisi hatuja kutukana, and you know he was saying this in Mount Kenya, but it seems when he's talking about the president in other regions, not Mount Kenya, he so, candled these words. But yesterday he was very careful and meticulous with the kind of words he was choosing to refer to him, telling that hatuja kutukana. What do you think is, why is Kenya Kwanza, when it goes to, to campaign regions that are friendly with the DP and the regions that are where the president is coming from, there seems to be, change of wording and the rhetorics there, Bwana Steve?
Mr. Vincent, Ruto's sentiments are just mere assumptions meant to trigger voter apathy. Concerning their reactions or their communications, both apathy and sympathy. Considering their arguments or their communication, the information they convey depends on the targeted audience. For instance, when Ruto is in, the other day when he was in touring Nandi, which is his perceived stronghold, he knows that majority of supporters there are, a majority of voters there is supporters. And therefore he can only incite them against the opponents to favor him. when he goes to Mount Kenya like yesterday, he knows that that is Uhuru's home turf. Therefore, whatever he will tell those people can either break him or make him. So he will definitely use sweet words to lure them, to convince them that I am one of your own. We are friendly to you. We are brothers and sisters. And therefore, accommodate me just like you'll accommodate your own son, Uhuru Kenyatta. Should he go there with those bitter sentiments, intending to abuse Uhuru, it's obvious that Uhuru has got friends, relatives and family there and supporters who might turn against Ruto depending on whatever he says. That is why we'll go to Kalenjin and literally abuse Uhuru, but when he goes to Mount Kenya, Ruto will say that it's the Kenya Kwanza team abusing Uhuru and it's not them. It's just to find favors wherever he goes.
I want us to listen to a bite by the President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday in Bungoma, talking about what the issues are on matters elections and what he thinks the region there should take, and not only regions but Kenyans should take in the next, in next Tuesday's election. And it was in support of Uhuru Kenyatta, in support of Raila Odinga, of course, in the elections. This is an issue that we want to look at the power of incumbency when it comes to elections, because if we look at the stand part 1, page 1, sorry, talking about the incumbency, President Kenyatta's government has the responsibility of ensuring a smooth and peaceful electoral process. I want us to look at this in a relationship with how the president tends to go along in matters of, campaigning at the elections.
The power of the incumbency will only have an influence based on what the current president has done. If the president failed in delivering his promises to the citizens, then definitely there will be no power of the incumbency. If the president worked hard to ensure that he delivered most of his promises, then he can use those deliverables to persuade the people. Like when Uhuru was talking yesterday in Nyanza, so he did not have a political gathering, but he was addressing people who went to see him when they were launching some projects. So he could use those projects to tell the people that actually, as a government, we've succeeded in doing this, we've achieved this, this is already in progress, this is complete, and this is about to commence.
Yes, can you listen to the bite first, and then we'll continue.
Munataka kurudi kwa moto ama munataka kuokoka? Munataka kuokoka? Njia ya kuokoka ni baba. Nawaambia. Njia ya kuokoka ni nini? Njia ya kuokoka ni nini? Afadhali mzee ambaye ni mtulivu, ambaye hana haja ya kujaza mifuko yake, ambaye atachunga masilahi ya watu yake, badala ya mdomo tamtamu, 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 tamtamu. Lakini akiingia ni wale wa kufanya moja yako, nusu ya mwananchi, mbili yako na tano yangu. Na mnawajua nyinyi, mnawajua. Kwa sababu kama sio hiyo shida, kama sio hiyo shida, hii factory leo ingekuwa mara 20 ya ile iko leo. Kweli ama sio kweli? Kweli ama sio kweli? Kama ingekuwa na watu waaminifu, kama ingekuwa na watu ambao wako na nia ya kusaidia mkulima wa miwa, kama ingekuwa na watu ambao wako na nia ya kuinua maisha ya wananchi wa Bungoma, alright? Wengine wamekuwa mawaziri kutoka wakati enzi za Moi.
Yes, that's the president. Of course, yesterday when he was in Bungoma, when of course he assured and promised the electorate there and the people that he's going to ensure that Nzoia Sugar comes back to life. But that's not what we want to talk about now. We want to talk about the way he was talking, in terms of the words he was using, how he was trying to, persuade the electorate to vote for his preferred successor, Bwana Steve. You were saying something before.
What Uhuru has just said is where I was coming to. The power of the incumbency will be very effective if the president successfully achieved some of his dreams. In that scenario, he will succeed in persuading the electorates that we've achieved this, but we are about to commence this, and such projects are in progress. Therefore, if we support a specific candidate, he will be in the position to complete the projects that are ongoing and those that are about to commence. But if you give us a different person, because I know both of them, then these dreams will be cut short. Uhuru Kenyatta is a person who has worked with both Raila and Ruto. These three people are all political cousins, just like Lin Jiru purported. Therefore, he understands all these people clearly. And as electorates, we know that they know each other. Therefore, if the president comes out and tells people that I have done this, and of course they were launching projects, and we want to do this and that projects, and the only person in the position to complete those projects is Raila Amolo Odinga, then it will work in favor of Raila Amolo Odinga. But suppose the president never made some significant contributions in terms of economic development, then it will not have any influence on the electorates. However, in this case, it's going to work significantly in favor of Raila Amolo Odinga.
Yes, and we seem to realize that the two sides know and understand the power of a sitting president as much as is exiting. They know the power he has in terms of, influencing a transition. And you could see even Deputy President William Ruto campaigning Nyeri. He was very wise in the choice of words. He was friendly with the words that he used, to address the president. Akimwambia kwamba sisi hatuja kutukana, wale kutukana ni wale ambao sasa ni marafiki zako. Waona. Kwa hivyo alijua kwamba hapa ni nyumbani kwake, lazima niongee friendly, manake najua nafasi yake katika uchaguzi huu.
Yeah, William Ruto is very crafty. Ni mjanja wa siasa. Yule ndugu yangu amesema anapokuwa pale Nandi anaongea tofauti na vile akiwa Central. Anapokuwa Nairobi anaongea tofauti na vile anapokuwa Western. And I agree with the president. You see, number one, President Uhuru Kenyatta anaposema ya kwamba baadhi ya hao viongozi wenu wamekuwa kwa serikali tangu wakati wa Moi. Unapoangalia Moses Wetangula amekuwa waziri kwa muda mrefu. Unapoangalia Musalia Mudavadi amekuwa vice president na amekuwa deputy prime minister wakati wa coalition government. Lakini walihusikaje kuwasaidia, for example, watu wa Western wanapokuja kusema ya kwamba Uhuru hajawafanyia kazi? Pampepe imeanguka, Mumias imeanguka, wakiwa katika serikali na wakiona. President Uhuru Kenyatta yeye ni Mkenya na ana uhuru wa kupigia debe yule ambaye anataka, na constitution haija mkataza kuwa katika upande fulani. Kwa hivyo wale wengine wamejua kwamba mambo yamebadilika na it's better waweze kuchukua the reality. Ya kwamba unajua vile ndugu yangu amesema ya kwamba Uhuru amefanya na hawa watu kazi wote pamoja. Uhuru amefanya na Ruto, Uhuru amefanya na Raila. In fact, Uhuru alikuwa katika ODM wakati 2005 ya constitution. Wamewaka pamoja, wamefanya kazi. Anaelewa wakati wa chungwa na ndizi. Wanaelewana, vile amesema ndio political cousins. Wanawajuana kwa vitendo. Anapokuambia kwamba huyu ni mzuri, unaweza mtrust, na huyu mwingine huwezi mtrust. Anakueleza kila ambacho amekaa na yeye kwa serikali na anamuelewa. Kwa hivyo watu wa Kenya kwanza wasikue na ile panic mood ya kwamba Uhuru Kenyatta amegemea upande fulani. Wacha wafanye kampeni zao in peaceful way. Waombe kura in peaceful way na wangoje kura ipigwe ihesabiwe na tupewe mshindi.
All right, let's listen to Raila Odinga campaigning yesterday in Kisii, talking about elections as well.
Naomba unikubali. Karibu gavana.
Vijana hoi! Vijana hoi! Sasa mimi nataka kuambia nyinyi mpaka muwe mstahimilivu. Tunasema mstahimilivu kuna mbivu, sio? Mimi najua yale ambayo yanafanyika yote. Nataka niambie nyinyi ya kwamba hii niambia nyinyi mbeleni ni vita. Na sitaki nyinyi mpeleke mimi huko juu na Martha. Kwa wangapi wako tayari kupiga sisi kura mimi na Martha nione mkono? Sasa sitaki mtupeleke sisi kule juu na hapa chini mnaleta adui wetu hapa. Wale wa Kenya kwisha. Hapa wale wa Kenya kwisha. Ukileta hao papo chini wataenda wakanifinya makende. Nataka nifinywe. Nataka nifinywe. Mimi nataka uchague Azimio kutoka chini mpaka juu. Sawa?
That is Raila Odinga talking about, I know my guest in studio, you could not have got that bite, but if I paraphrase what he was saying, he was talking about, you know, the importance of voting for. He was trying to, you know, create an agitation for his support base in Kisii to support him in numbers, and also not just him and Martha, but the other, just voting for a suit. That is what he was saying. Do you think there is time for that now, even as we conclude? There is time to sway votes to a side 5 days to the elections?
At the moment, you'll realize that all presidential candidates are currently campaigning in their perceived strongholds. When you see Raila, he's crossing the sides of Kisii, which is his perceived stronghold, even according to this researcher finders. The latest opinion polls show that those are his strongholds. Same applies to William Ruto. He was campaigning in Mount Kenya, which they believe is their stronghold. The reason is one agenda. These few days, the results of elections will be seriously determined by voter turnout. So the presidential candidates, they are not literally trying to persuade voters to vote for them and not the opponent, but they are trying to convince them to turn out in large numbers to ensure that their supporters will go to the ballot and to cast their vote. It is very possible that some people might still not see the importance of voting. But within the next few days, that's the 5 days remaining, the presidential candidate who will succeed in ensuring that majority of their supporters go to cast their votes on the specific day will really reap big out of it.
Yes, tunapomalizia tu kaka, naomba useme neno moja tu bwana Siamba, pia nawe ukiambia pia wao your strongholds wajitokeza kupigia kura bwana Juma lijalo.
Ya, kulingana na soundbit ambayo nilisikia news jana. Na kila ambacho Raila Odinga anazungumzia saa ni ya kwamba mnapompatia urais na hamjampatia full soldiers behind him.
Usitumie lile neno lakini zuia. Usitumie neno alilolitumia. Hataweza kupata idadi mzuri ya member of parliament na MCAs. Kwa hivyo vile umesema ya kwamba kulingana na, for example, napokueleza ya kwamba kwa sekunde tu
anapokuwa katika sehemu ya Nyanza anaona hii ni stronghold yake, na anawaambia wale voters ya kwamba mnipatie kura, na pia si kura peke yake, mnipatie na watu ambao nitaweza kufanya kazi pamoja na wao. And that's why naona ya kwamba, for example, hizo areas ni ODM zone, na anauliza ya kwamba unajua wakati tulienda nomination ya ODM kuna watu walipoteza. Sisi ambao tulibatika kupata certificate ya ODM tulipata. Na wale ambao walipoteza waliweza kuwa na kukasirika ya kusema ya kwamba hawajafanyiwa fair, na and then wakaenda katika sehemu ya independent. Na hivyo wakati mwingine Raila aliwauliza, kama wewe ulijua kwamba utaenda independent, mbona hukuenda mapema kabla hauja kuja katika chama? Kwa hivyo tunauliza watu wetu ya kwamba tunapopigia debe Raila Odinga kuwa rais wa tano wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, na pia mpatie na watu ambao ataweza kufanya kazi pamoja.
Wewe ni mmoja wao?
Mimi ni mmoja wao.
Unawania wapi na wapi? Sekunde moja useme watu wajitokeza kupigia kura siku hiyo kwa amani, lakini
mimi in fact slogan yangu ni uchaguzi bila noma.
Tumia hiyo kamera.
Slogan yangu ni uchaguzi bila noma, na hivyo tunauliza watu wetu wa Mavoko na Mudhwani Ward ya kwamba mjitokeze kwa wingi, muweze kuchagua Paul Siamba kama candidate wenu, ili tuweze kupata ushindi na tutaweza kuwafanyia kazi. Hiyo kazi mnapotupatia, we are determined and we will work for you.
Tunakutakia kila laheri, wananchi wenyewe wataamua. Your last word, Bwana Steve, as we conclude this talk this morning.
9th August will be a defining moment in the history of Kenya, because it will give an excellent opportunity for every single Kenyan who has a vote to bring or create a difference in the nation. Since the inception of the American dream in the United States, for instance, Americans had got that excellent opportunity to ensure that they provided several working opportunities for every citizen, regardless of their ethnicity, political affiliation, religious inclination. Similarly, Kenyans, we have the chance to create such a shared dream for Kenyans that will help not only the current generation, but also the future generation. It will be only possible if we all go out and vote for the rightful candidate that will create a difference.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for coming and gracing our show this morning. Wish you all the best, Bwana Siamba, as you embark on these last days of the campaign, and wish you all the best in the polls next Tuesday. Mr. Steve, wish you all the best in your day's activities. Of course, you are ours, and we'll always be talking and engaging, especially during this electioneering period. We want to take a short break. We are due back with sports news. I'm told Chris Sambo is ready to update us on what is happening on the sports arena this morning, so don't go away.
Choose life, that you may love the Lord your God.
If you delight yourself in the Lord, He will make you fruitful in whatever season you are in.
Listen to His voice and hold fast to Him.
That as disciples ourselves, we're being invited to be transformed more fully every single day.
In our walk with God, let us know that we are assured victory in every battle.
For the Lord is your life.
Live a pure life. Are you living a righteous life before the Lord? It is possible. People are wondering, can you do without corruption? Yes, I can stand and say it is possible to do without corruption.
Don't miss season 2 of the evening epilogue every day at 9:30 p.m. only on Kirk TV.
What a wonderful year our dear God has granted to us. 2022 Boys and Girls Brigade Week. Our theme this year comes from the book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 6. And the Bible says, "The Lord is my helper, I will not be afraid. What can a mere mortal do to me?" Therefore, from the same theme, we get a consolidated theme of we invite all of you to join us in our programs that are lined up for you in the whole week. We have wonderful morning devotions brought to you from different parts of the Republic of Kenya by young children preaching the Word of God.
My dear parents, my dear brothers and sisters, I want to encourage you with one thing. Tell God, I have to go with you.
We also have wonderful programs brought to you by the hosts of different programs in the Kirk TV majoring on children affairs. Therefore, we invite all of you, children and adults, to join us and have a fantastic week. The climax of the whole week will be on Sunday, when we have wonderful services brought to you through the TV and our YouTube channel and Facebook from different parishes within the Presbyterian Church of East Africa. Note the one that will be coming to you from the neighboring country, St. John's, Kinondoni in Tanzania. We believe that you are going to have a fantastic week of the week as we look forward for next week when we have the general elections, considering trusting in God.
Waters touching your latest breath on the rising tide, you can never fail when your anchor holds deep in the...
So catch Fit to Live every Monday through Friday at 6:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Together, let's have fun, get fit, and stay healthy. My name is Aida Munzati. I'll be your host for this show. Remember, your health always matters.
Choose life that you may love the Lord your God.
If you delight yourself in the Lord, He will make you fruitful in whatever season you are in.
Listen to His voice and hold fast to Him.
That as disciples ourselves, we're being invited to be transformed more fully every single day.
In our walk with God, let us know that we are assured victory in every battle.
For the Lord is your life.
Live a pure life. Are you living a righteous life before the Lord? It is possible. People are wondering, can you do without corruption? Yes, I can stand and say it is possible to do without corruption.
Don't miss season 2 of the evening epilogue every day at 9:30 p.m. only on Kirk TV.
Glad that you're still watching Kirk in the Morning this Wednesday, the 3rd of August 2022. It's time for sports. My colleague Chris Sam is in studio, and I know that he has a lot for you. We are going there in a bit to update us on what's going on in the Commonwealth Games and as well as the preparation for what is happening this weekend in the sports arena.
All right, and now getting into the sports update in the Kirk in the Morning. Of course, we start off with some good news from the ongoing Commonwealth Games in the United Kingdom, where Kenya's and Africa's fastest man, Ferdinand Omanyala, will compete in the semi-finals after winning heat 5 of the 100 meters in 10.07 seconds. That is what he ran yesterday. Of course, after that race and failing in Oregon, Omanyala now says he will be going for the gold medal in the semi-final that is expected to happen today in the ongoing Commonwealth Games in the United Kingdom, as well as in the 100 meters, where Kenya's 26-year-old Maximila Imali qualified for the first semi-finals of the women race after clocking 11:30 seconds in Birmingham in the heat won by Jamaica's Ellen Thompson. That is what happened in matters to do with the short distance race. That is Ferdinand Omanyala qualifying for the 100 meters in the semi-final and getting into the semi-finals of the ongoing Commonwealth Games in Birmingham in the United Kingdom, as well as an highlight of the 100 meters female race, where Maximila Imali qualified as well for the semi-final expected to happen today. As well, from the Commonwealth Games, there is yet other good news, where Kenya's Daniel Ebenyo Simiyu has won the silver in men's 10,000 meters at the ongoing Commonwealth Games in a personal best of 27 minutes, 11 seconds and 26, while Jacob Kiplimo of Uganda won the race in New Games record of 27 minutes, 9 seconds, 19. Kibiwot Kandie of Kenya came third, winning bronze for Kenya, now putting Kenya to 4 medals, 2 bronze and 2 silver. And just coming to you, Vincent, Ferdinand Omanyala failing in Oregon and, not giving his maximum. And now, despite what happened by the time he was getting to Oregon, now he has the time qualifying for the semi-finals in his heat, running 10.7 seconds. What do you take? What do you see of Omanyala in the semi-finals in the Birmingham race?
Well, I think he was in the top 3 in terms of qualification time. As much as he won his heat, I think the 6th heat was performed better because the winner had 9.47, 9 point something seconds there. But I believe that going forward, because this was just a hit, and they don't give their best in hits because they want to preserve the energy for semis and going forward. So I believe that in the semis we're going to see the real Omanyala we saw here in Nairobi during the Kip Keino Classic.
And of course he'll be competing against some Song Africans, and a total of 7 Africans will be leading in that semi-final race, starting with Akani Simbine of South Africa. I don't know, do you see a competition of an African motivated race that Omanyala yesterday said that we are not going to have pressure. Kenya, we are going for gold. What do you take of Omanyala's confidence in the semi-finals, or is it overconfident?
Omanyala is always a confident guy. When I interviewed him a year or so ago, I think 9 months ago, we talked and he said he's always about confidence, and what his strength actually is how confident he is. Simbine, he's defeated him before, because right now Omanyala is the fastest man in Africa. So I don't see anything that is going to really withhold him from going all the way to the finals.
All right, and that is the ongoing Commonwealth Games in Birmingham in the United Kingdom that is ongoing, and different races expected to happen today, as well as the semi-finals of the 100 meters. We'll be looking out to see how Ferdinand Omanyala performs in that particular race. And now switching gears and coming back to the country, the Kenya, in matters to do with the women's sevens rugby, is that the national women's rugby team head coach Dennis Mwanja has handed the captaincy armband to Judith Auma of Impala Saracens Women Rugby Club as he unveiled the squad to the World Rugby Sevens Challenger Series in Santiago, Chile, slated for the 12th of August to 14th. The Lionesses are in Pool D and will begin their campaign with a clash against China on August 12 at 9:01 p.m. before taking on continental rivals South Africa at 2:37 a.m. On August 13th, they will wind up their pool play with a match against host Chile at 5:34 p.m. on August 13th. The Challenger Series serves as the qualification tournament for the 2022-2023 World Rugby 7 Series, with the winner gaining promotion. Of course, that is an update to do with the Kenya Women's Rugby Sevens in the preparation for the World Rugby Sevens that is expected to happen next year, and that is a very big step in regards, to the early preparations. The head coach naming that particular squad. I don't know what, Kerosi, you think of the preparations and the performance of the Kenya Women's Rugby. What do you think of the women's rugby? How are we developing that particular sport? Because now we see they're getting into early preparations, getting their right foot before the World Cup Sevens rugby, and this is a squad that has been named will be jetting out for yet another competition facing South Africa, Chile, and China. What do you take of the preparations by the Kenya Sevens women's rugby?
I like it that we began early in time, because we saw what happened last time when we were preparing for the same. And this is a sport that I feel Kenya women, we can do better in, as much as we are doing better in volleyball. I believe that we have the ability and the talent to perform, on world stage as far as rugby is concerned. So I believe beginning early in preparations will also give us a little bit an edge when it comes to the competition that we are going to face. But most importantly, it depends with also the friendlies and how we're going to prepare ourselves in terms of matches. Who are we going to pit ourselves against in terms of preparation of matches? That's the friendlies and here and there. So I believe if we get it right, if the Kenya Rugby Union gets it right this time round, then we can go far as far as this game is concerned in the women league.
All right, and that is matters to do with the Kenyan rugby, and talking about the women's sevens rugby in their preparations ahead of the World Rugby 7 Series, with the winner gaining promotion. That is what we are waiting to see, how they will perform from the 12th of August to 14th, where they will be playing different matches, playing China on the first match, and taking on South Africa, their bitter rivals from Africa, and finalizing that particular series with Chile, that is the host of that particular tournament. And now switching gears to Europe on the English Premier League transfers. Of course, the latest coming out of the transfer window is Chelsea's and Aston Villa reaching an agreement for the permanent transfer of Kani Chukwuemeka, who is 18 years old, in a deal worth 20 million euros. That is the teenager who played a starring role in England Under-19's European Championship triumph this summer into the final 12 months of his contract at Villa Park, and had been a good player for the Aston Villa team. And now Chukwuemeka will be joining Chelsea. Just a brief history of him: he started at the Villa Academy. He joined the Villa Academy from Northampton Town in 2016 before making his senior debut in May 2021. Last season alone, Chukwuemeka made 11 Premier League appearances for Villa last term. Of course, that is the transfer that has been, termed to be one of the youngest transfers in this window, and as well as the seemingly very promising, transfer window. I don't know what you take of Kerosi, because the transfer window has been very open, different signings, some players running away from this particular club. But then there is this signing that is so significant, Chukwuemeka, very significant for Aston Villa last season, scoring a late winner for Aston Villa against Chelsea, and now Chelsea going ahead to sign him in a whooping 20 million euros for an 18-year-old. What do you take of that transfer?
I know as a Chelsea fan you're very happy, because you've been losing targets to Barcelona all through this window. So I know you're very happy. At least I wonder how Barcelona did not come in for this particular transfer. But I wish you all the best, guys. Chukwuemeka is a great young kid, and we believe that if he continues the same trajectory we've seen in Aston Villa, is going to take Chelsea a level. But Is that what Chelsea needs? I think no. Chelsea needs more than that. I don't know why Chelsea is thinking so defensively when they are so worse going forward offensively.
I didn't expect you to agree to that transfer, definitely, you being an Arsenal fan. But as all statistics indicate, Chukwuemeka is a promising talent, and we hope and wait to see what.
Yes, it's a promising, as you said, promising. But do you need promise right now, or you need
a promising
ability to deliver immediately?
Actually, the signing of Chukwuemeka is more of a backup plan for Chelsea, in what the statement reads from the Chelsea. But the persuasion by the Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel is that he'll also be making a senior appearance for the senior team, the Chelsea senior team. But we wait to see how he will perform, and as well as what benefits he will bring to Chelsea. And apart from that, there is also other transfer rumors. Of course, Chelsea going on to sign Brighton defender Shushurela, or rather Cucurella. Because it depends with where you come from as well. But all the same, those are the transfer windows. And Jules Kounde already joining Barcelona. Some of the transfer windows happening, transfers happening in this window, even as the Premier League starts.
Timo Werner is also headed to Leipzig from Chelsea on loan.
Definitely, will be. That depends on whether Chelsea will be able to, get the player that they want in the next few days. Of course, there is so much to talk about in regards to transfer of the English Premier League, but the most significant is that the Premier League will be kicking off this Friday with Arsenal opening the season. Kerosi, your first match against which team will you be playing against?
Crystal Palace. I can't wait because that's a London derby. But of course, we want to show the world what Arsenal is made of. Gabriel Jesus, we have Mohamed El Neni. So if we can't pray to Jesus, we can pray to Mohamed, and we will be able to win. So we don't have a reason not to beat Crystal Palace badly on Friday night.
All right, and I think that is where we are going to wind up this particular sports update. Of course, we'll be talking match on Friday on Kirk in the Morning. Be sure also to catch Kirk midday tomorrow, as we also have different conversation. But for now, I say goodbye. This is Sports Update inside Kirk in the Morning. My name is Chris Sambu.
All right, after that sports update, we want to call it a day in Kirk in the Morning on Wednesday. Thank you very much, Sambu, my colleague, for that sports update. I'm very happy as an Arsenal fan because I know Chelsea is a weak team right now going forward because the signings they're making are not good enough to compete for the league. But that is it from us. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you for, being with us since morning in our talk this morning. The countdown to the general election, 5 days to the D-Day. How ready are you? How confident do you feel in the IBC and all the apparatus that are going to ensure that we have a credible, a fair, and a free, fair, and credible election come next Tuesday? Remember that Kirk TV, we are preparing ourselves to give you a programming of its kind as far as election coverage is concerned. So stay tuned on Kirk TV, and we are not going to let you down starting this Monday. My name is Vincent Kirusi. And on behalf of everyone who made this show a success, including my panelists who just left, my director, my camera people in studio, and everyone, I want to say a big thank you for you for even making sure that you gave your feedback on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. We want to say gladly thank you very much. See you again tomorrow. It's Faith Kaulu's day on Lifestyle Thursday here on Kirk TV from 10 a.m. You don't want to miss that. My name is Vincent Caruso. I want to repeat again. Have yourself a good day. Kwaheri.